918, we're headed down into the cellar where the doors just opened on its own. Give us a sign that you want to communicate with us.
Broadcasting from the darkest corners of the Pacific Northwest, this is Transcendence.
Now you will receive us. Do not ask for your food or you're hungry. We do not want your tired and sick. It is your corrupt we claim. It is your evil that will be sought by us. With every breath, we shall hunt them down, 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 down. The power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you. Out of my way. People have to be told.
You know I can't let you do that.
What are you guys?
Well, we've been called ghost hunters, paranormal researchers.
But we prefer to be known simply as
Emma Strange and Charlieripley.
Hello, my spooky dudes. Welcome to Transcendence.
I'm Charlieripley.
I'm Emma. If you're new here, you wouldn't know that, but if you've been listening a while, you probably know that by now.
Well, we're getting a bunch of new people. Like, our Facebook page is getting, 10, 20 likes a day, so we're getting a whole bunch of new folks.
Yeah, and then our, viewership, or listenership, I guess. Listenership went up, just, skyrocketed in the last
200.
2 weeks, and, I don't know what happened. I don't know if we were just driving around. Everybody's seen the logo on the back of our car, which apparently we got a Facebook
We got
message.
recognized.
Someone saw us out on the street. I can't remember her name now. I feel terrible. I'm sorry.
Well,
Abigail. I don't know.
Can you pull it up? I can pull it up.
Yeah,
Someone can pull it up. Let's pull it up.
Said that she wanted to run across the street and say hi to us at the stoplight, which is my social anxiety is whoa, no, but it's really okay, guys. For the most part, if you're respectful, you're wearing a mask. If we're out and about, since we're in the middle of COVID 2.0, totally feel free to say hi.
Angela,
okay, that's
so. If you're out there, Angela, we replied to your Facebook message. Finally, we're really bad about that. I replied to you on Twitter, but we'll give you a special shout out. So we didn't mean to ignore you. We're so sorry. We did reply.
We're millennials. We don't use Facebook anymore.
Yeah, check your Facebook. We want to chat, and next time you do see us, you can say hi. Do be careful. I am a little jumpy, a little paranoid. I'm sure if you listen to this, you know that. Yeah. So I can't promise that I won't react at first, but we'll get it figured out.
We'll warm up to you. Just so the world's a little right now, so never be too careful.
But it was almost like instant regret because we got a camera due to some issues with potentially someone coming to our house, so we wanted to be a little bit extra safe. And then the first thing after we saw that was I was like, oh my god, people know who we are in public now. Now we have to be careful. What do we look like? What do people see when they see us? What if they see our car and follow us? And anxiety.
I was talking to my sister about that, and normally when I go out of the house, I really don't give a fuck what I look like anymore because I'm tired and I'm old and I don't care. So
cottagecore aesthetic is surprisingly close to homeless aesthetic. So
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like leaving the house in my Winnie the Pooh onesie, and I just if that's that day, that's me. Sorry. That's one of the things that happens.
I support her in all of her choices with that, except for when she wants to take this giant 6-foot stuffed animal on car rides that fills up half of our car. I no longer support that decision.
I love that thing. My brother got me that for Christmas a couple of years ago, and it's my favorite. So it's February. Hey.
The month of love.
Yeah, I have an important question to ask you, actually.
Go for it.
Will you be my boo? Okay, I'm allowed bad puns. Dude, after the shit show of titles you gave for our last episode, I don't want to hear it.
I stand by...
You want Shreks and Demons?
Of Shrek and Demons, of Mice and Men. No. I stand by that being a good one. Life's a Beach is a classic.
Yeah, it's old. Anyway, so what do we have on the agenda
We
today?
have a bunch to talk about. We shot our episode on New Year's Day and took us a month to make this one, but...
we got a lot going on.
We have... Okay, so there's two things I want to talk about first. The first thing I want to talk about is our experience of speaking to a ghost in Spanish, because this was so exciting to me.
It's pretty normal for me. I don't really think about it, but because like I said, my family is Norwegian and Hispanic, so we grew up speaking Spanish. And when I moved out with my Highlander gringo over here. I kind of started losing it more and more and more, and like my accent is just, it's so bad now.
Okay, wait, we have to do one quick off topic because
What?
you know how fusion restaurants are all the rage right now? Is there any Norwegian, Latino fusion restaurants that you can get like a crepe but it's filled with burrito fillings or
I literally did do that though, and it's fucking amazing, and yes, I did. So
lutefisk over nachos?
no, lutefisk. I asked my mom last night actually if she had ever had it and if she actually liked it and if any Norwegian actually fucking likes that stuff. And she said no. She said her grandmother hated it too. And it's one of those things that it's just like a thing that
It varies from
we
culture
used
to
do,
culture.
and I
Like,
don't know.
old people carry those candies that no one on earth would ever eat, and they hate them. We hate them, but they still exist. So somehow people, the same thing with like fruitcakes, right? Like, dear God, most fruitcakes are awful, yet they still get bought, they still get sold. So anyways, the reason why this is important is because I've never spoken to a ghost, a spirit, or anything else in another language. And so, to me, that answers a lot of questions. You know, a lot of people are like, well, why do you only speak to ghosts in English? Or why do we only speak to ghosts, from the Victorian era? Why isn't there any modern ghosts? Or why isn't there any older ghosts? But if language is still a thing when you're dead, then that really limits who we can speak to in English, right? Like, if you travel anywhere in the world, you need a different language.
I will say that I don't know. We don't typically have people reach out from language barrier countries and stuff. Like if you see a grave in Vietnamese and stuff, like I obviously don't look like I know Vietnamese, so I haven't got. I've had a few like other Latino interactions out and about, but in my head I hear it the same. So
that's because you're used to it, right? Like
yeah,
you're used to being around Spanish, but now I'm curious, like, is there a way we can figure out, like, what does ghost Mandarin sound like in your head or in your empathy waves or whatever you want to call it? Like, what if those feelings that, like, sometimes you're like, I feel something strange and I don't know what it is, that could be something trying to communicate in in the language or even a dead language that you don't even know exists.
It's a really interesting theory. I don't know.
That's what makes me so excited about it, because like we've only spoken to things in English, but this opens up a whole, like, when we go to Japan eventually, do we need to, so we used Google Translate. Like I'm
a lot.
I can read Spanish, but I cannot speak Spanish worth a damn. And I can.
Oh my God, no, I know. Say tortilla.
Tortilla?
See, yeah, gringo.
So are we going to need to bring like Google Translate to be able to talk to ghosts in Japanese? I know a lot of them know English now, but our ghosts we run into are like pioneers. So are there like samurai ghosts who are going to speak the really old Japanese and not know English at all? Or
I really want to learn Norwegian, and I don't know how. It's a mess. But
I would love to run into a Norwegian ghost. Hey, you guys, boo.
Jesus. I have told this dude so many times that not everyone from Scandinavia sounds like that, and he just
Are you going to have to edit that out?
No, I mean, that's your shame, not mine. Like,
I'm scaring you.
he watches Metalocalypse and like just, is it Squiscard? That's
Squiscard and Toki.
Yeah. So,
hey, if Blizzard can get away with it, then I can get away with it. Until Blizzard takes it down, then it's allowed.
I mean, it doesn't bother me, but I'm not everyone, so.
So yeah, speaking to a ghost in Spanish was a really cool experience. He was a Catholic, so I did my prayers. We connected on that level as Catholics.
He was very matter of fact. Like, I was asking him questions, and I was like, because I'm not gonna illustrate what cemetery it was, just because it was like,
he was literally buried one day before. Like, this was the most recent we ever, like, this was one day.
Yeah, and like we were walking past, and like automatically just felt like this pull on me. I was like, hey. And I looked at his name. I was like, hey, Cipriano. And he was just like, hey, what's up? And I was like, and then the Spanish started happening, and I guess I just didn't realize it, and it was normal. And then I realized when we're asking questions on the rods, like, I can understand it, but like translating it to speech sometimes for me has become a little rusty because I just don't use it anymore. So I was like trying to say things out loud and had to get Google Translate out for a couple of words that I had forgotten. And
which we already feel kind of dumb and out of place in the cemetery. You know, we're standing out there with our rods looking kind of sus, but having your phone out at the same time pronouncing words for you just adds to the uneasy feeling. But he confirmed for us as a Catholic, I'll take this opinion over anyone else's. You know, he's also said that there is no hell, and if a Catholic doesn't believe in hell, then you take that for what it is, because right, Catholic hell is the most helliest hell there is.
Well, that's not the first Catholic we've encountered, though, that said that there was no hell. We've had, like, McCorkle.
McCorkle said the same thing, yeah. Yes. The second thing we wanted to talk about, story time. The story of the tile. This is, so if you've seen me on Reddit, which I know a few of you have, if you haven't blocked me yet, I apparently have been pissing people off, but I'm out there every day.
Can you, like, please tell people what happened yesterday? Because it's fucking hilarious.
Okay. Different story time really fast. So there was a guy who was asking on Reddit to listen to his podcast. And as a podcaster, I always feel like it's my duty. Like, yeah, I'll give your podcast a listen. I'll give you some honest feedback. You know, we're podcast bros. We got to help each other out. So I gave it a listen. And it was just really strange. You know, some episodes were 2 hours long. Some episodes were 1 minute long. Very, just very strange. And one of them was a tarot thing, and I said that their tarot prediction was off, and they replied back, it's like, no, it wasn't, and they they talked about whatever, and then they messaged me like an hour later complaining that their post had gotten taken down. And if you know anything about Reddit mods, you know that they are power-hungry, abusive, and they will delete anything, and they love enforcing the rules, and I hate Reddit mods. They're as bad as Discord mods, but... So, I was like, yeah, that sucks, bro. Had it happened to me a few times. So we started chit-chatting back and forth, and then just all of a sudden he's like, I bet it was you. You reported me, didn't you? I was like, no, it wasn't me, but I understand why you would think that. You know, it sucks. And then silence. And then he messages me again. It's like, don't ever fucking message me again. And then rode off into the wind.
And this was all because Cooper said, no, COVID didn't end last November. That's it. That's all. Anyways,
more interesting story. Tile. So...
I had my wallet jacked for me in December. So if you listen to our previous episode, we talked a little bit about that. And so we didn't talk so much about the tile stuff though. So if you are forgetful or have ADHD like me, you lose your shit all the fucking time. And Charlie found these really, really cool like tracking devices.
Yeah, they're really slim. You just slip them in whatever, and then your phone tells you can click a button and it rings so you can find them.
Yeah, Tile. It's amazing. And
we are not sponsored by Tile, but Tile, if you're listening, we'll gladly give you glowing reviews.
Yes. Also, I'd like them to debunk this, though. So, I don't even know where the fuck to start with this, but basically, we were trying to go somewhere, and I couldn't find my purse. We were trying to go hiking, and I needed my purse to buy food on the way there. So my wallet also existed in there. And I was freaking out. I couldn't find it because I had just finally gotten my ID and my social security card and everything replaced after losing everything prior. So I was like, please, dear God, do not let this happen again, because I cannot go through this a second time. Because I don't know if you guys have tried to get your documents replaced during the pandemic, but it is... Well,
replacing it in general is a bitch, but trying to do it during a pandemic is just, you know, the hard mode.
Yeah. So we were trying to get the tile in my purse, because I keep one in there too, because that's one of the many things I lose. And it kept pinging, and heard...
So to ping it, it works off of Bluetooth, so you have to be close to it. I believe you have to be within like 30 or 60 feet. So the weird thing was, like, I was in our back office where we're shooting this episode now, and it wouldn't connect. And I was like, okay, well, you left your purse out in my car then, because, you know, it's far enough away. There's metal in between. It must be on the car. So we went out to the car, wasn't there, and the thing wouldn't connect. But for some reason, when I was standing in the kitchen, it finally connected, and we're like, oh, well, now we can find it. So we set it off, and then it plays this little tune, you like a little twinkle, twinkle, little star tune or something like that, and was coming from the garage.
Yeah. So I went in there, and I thought maybe my dumbass had washed it,
thrown it in the wash or on like the clothes pile or something.
Yeah. So I was frantically like, "Oh, Emily, you dumbass," and like I was like scrolling through. Jesus, I'm on social media way too much. I was sorting through the laundry in the washer. Nothing was in there. Like, I tore it apart. I tore open the dryer. Like, nothing was in there. And then it kept pinging over like to the back of the garage where we have like a bunch of storage, like bikes and boxes and crap. And I was like, how? Like, physically, it doesn't make any goddamn sense. Eventually, like, Charlie came back and was like looking for it too, and we both kind of landed on, it was up in the ceiling.
Yeah, we went to the spot where it was like loudest, and it was up in the ceiling, that we have never crawled up there. There's no access up there. We've never gone up there. It's impossible. But that's not the end of it.
No, so then I was bamboozled, and I was so fucking confused, and upset because I couldn't figure out how it happened.
And then you found your purse.
And then I found my purse.
With a different tile in it.
Yeah, and this one, the one that was dinging was connected to my wallet, and sorry, I'm watching a live ghost count, and there was just movement across the screen. Okay, we'll have to refer back to that. Just lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
So we found your purse. It had a different tile in it that was connected to a totally different thing.
And then it said that it was pinging outside our fence in the alleyway.
Yeah, then it said, so when something's lost, so if you marked it lost, it then opens up this cool app that allows anyone else to try and find that tile, and then it reports back to you where it is. So we actually found whoever stole her wallet works at the local, what was it, UPS?
Yeah, UPS.
UPS place, because her wallet was in there. Of course, we can't go in there and check it, so we wrote it off. But so I marked it as lost because it was in our ceiling and I wasn't ever going to use it again, so I wanted to deactivate it. And then it said, hey, we found your wallet or your purse.
Outside
it's in the
fence.
back alleyway, when it was just in our roof.
Yeah, so this was all at 6 o'clock in the morning, by the way. And
yeah, so I grabbed my gun, grabbed my flashlight, and we go back to the alleyway.
And there's nothing out there. And then we went back to the house, tried to get it to ping again, and it just vanished. Could
Gone.
never get it again.
Not in the ceiling, not in the back alleyway. Gone.
And we haven't gotten an alert on it since. So, I was freaking the fuck out because also in that entire week, I was a moody bitch. And
More so than usual.
I don't know. I was angry. I was irritable. I was easily frustrated. I was picking fights with my family. I was just...
They lovingly call her Marshmallow, so picking fights is way out of character for her.
Yeah, so it's just not my thing. And we were sitting here trying to figure it out, and I thought, okay, so a few months ago, Charlie brought home this fucking demon doll, and we've had it in a garbage bag wrapped in a rosary, untouchable, in a closet since. And so we had some issues with that couple weeks, and then it died down and didn't really have anything happen. And so I was like, okay, what could it be? And then we got the dowsing rods, and we had some really odd activity on the dowsing rods.
They didn't work at all in here, and that's never happened. We have so many ghosts and so much activity. I've never not had the rods work.
Yeah, and we were talking to McCorkle, and I think we were talking to my grandfather, and we were getting their energy, getting their responses, and then all of a sudden something just completely took over, which does not happen very often. And
I'm getting chills just thinking about it.
Yeah. And so they just wouldn't move. We were trying to contact, because we've got a pretty hefty roster of people.
McCorkle, Papa, and just go down the list like Dr. O, Justin,
Layla, Marianne, Kenneth.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah, nothing. And Kenneth is always on response.
He's an attention ham. He, of course, would want it.
Kenneth and McCorkle and my grandfather, usually without a doubt, we always get. Those are pretty much our main ones. But, yeah, nothing. And then I was like, okay, maybe it's the doll. I don't know. So I brought it out. I got gloves on and I brought it out. And Charlie noticed it as I was fucking around with it, that it was moving. The rods were moving with the doll as I was messing around with it. Yeah,
we took video of it, and she would move from left to right with the doll, and the rods were following it. Another thing I've never seen before.
No, it was so bizarre. Did we send that to Patrick?
I don't think we ever did, because I was shirtless.
Okay. Okay.
And I have what you call a dad bod.
Yeah, but a lot of ladies are into dad bods, so don't worry about that. I am also the lady that is into dad bods. Don't feel bad about yourself.
I'm gonna let you sit with that silence too.
Why?
So it's following the rods, but eventually we determined it wasn't the doll. We wrapped it back up. I poured holy water on it for good measure.
Yeah, and then I rewrapped it, and we were as we were formulating a plan to find some running water, where we could dump this thing and not have it be found by a lot of people. And yes, I'm sorry, we don't pollution bad. I get it, but this is the only way.
Pollution bad, demons worse.
Yeah. So, we were formulating that plan, and then I don't know how we came to this conclusion.
Energy came back to the rods. Very, very angry energy came back to the rods, and we were able to talk to McCorkle, who said that there was something else here.
Yeah, and then we eventually narrowed it down to, so trigger warning for this, we're going to be talking about sexual assault, so if that's not your thing, skip forward about 3 minutes to be safe, and then that'll be done with. So
we used the cards to determine that.
just to keep within that timeline, so we're not like triggering.
I'm watching the clock.
So, okay. So basically, we found out that there was a girl that was outside in our backyard that had been raped and molested, basically sex trafficked, in her life, and he was deceased also and was still with her. Like, basically, he had her under him. Like,
a spirit was haunting another spirit.
Yeah, which, again, something I have never experienced before, and I don't even know how to process that. But so that was a thing, and she was trying to get away from him. She was wanting help, and then I realized as soon as all of this was happening that what I had been feeling that entire week, that lashing out, that anger, was her. Like, that was all of hers, and I had just been emulating that the entire time. And it was so bizarre because as soon as we helped her, as soon as we got her into a safe place, I just felt completely normal.
Instantly different.
Instantly
different person. And the thing is that,
like, and you're watching it from an outside perspective, so what did that look like to you?
oh, I just wanted a quick side note that nothing can get into our house. Like, it is warded really well by you. I've got crucifixes everywhere. I've got my prayers, protections. Like, nothing so far has been able to come into the house without permission.
Right.
So that's why, she was like waiting out of the back alley trying to get our attention, because whatever we do works well enough to keep them out. But it was like, so I am not an empath, but I'm learning a little bit of feeling your emotions and tuning in to you.
Mm.
And it was like you had been carrying a 50-pound sack of rice on your back, and it just fell off of you just instantly. Your mood was better, you were happier, there was a twinkle in your eye. Like, it was a world of difference, just an instant relief.
Yeah, and I don't know how to explain that. I very rarely have had anything take over like that before, and so there's a very angry and hurt little girl. She's here now.
Penelope.
Yeah, I don't know where the fuck that other guy went, but as soon as she was in here,
he can still be outside for all we know. We never really tried to talk to him because
I don't want anything to do with
yeah,
that shit.
Why the fuck would he want? I don't actually. I think that's worth talking about, right? Like, if we're supposed to be healers,
Mm-hmm.
Spiritual healers, and we're supposed to help people, if there is someone truly evil or wicked, is it our duty to help them still?
I'm going to have an extremely differing opinion on that as my morale path leads, and as a Catholic, I know it's a little bit different, right? Where yeah, so
we're all worthy of God's love, in my opinion. So yes,
Yeah.
even if he made mistakes in life, even if he was the evilest of evil, if he's still a human, then he deserved a chance at redemption.
yeah, I'm not Catholic. Sex offenders get no empathy from me, so it is what it is,
But yeah, we ignored him. We didn't try and reach out. We don't know. I guess that's something we're gonna have to ask a couple of the ghosts next time we have the rods out. Is like, hey, is there still this guy hanging around our house trying to get in? But I mean, instantly when she was here, we titled this episode that we've seen The Princess and Frog like 500 times, because that is like her favorite comfort movie. So we played that.
No. That's Maddie.
Oh, is that Maddie's?
Yeah, Maddie. Maddie, the sweet little thing that we picked up from Highway 101
In our last episode.
Yeah, so if you listen to our last episode, that's Maddie.
No, Penelope likes the older ones. We were talking about the Rockadoodle's been stuck in your head for like...
so we'll get to that in a second. But like Maddie, that's all she watches. That's all she ever wants to watch, and it pisses Kenneth off to no end. And he just
Ghost fight.
So, Penelope. And it was so weird when we were trying to figure out her name. Like, it popped in our heads at the exact same moment.
And we talked about this before. Yeah, when we do this, we try and go alphabetical. So let's start at A, B. And I was like, no, we don't need to do that. And we're like, do you have a name too? I was like, yeah. And then we just both knew it was Penelope. It was there.
Yeah, like I think like 0.2 seconds before you said it, I was like, Penelope, and you're like, yeah, well, fuck, what? Yeah, really? Yeah, and it's just, it's weird. This whole thing is just bizarre, and so I have this like safe space room where it's like filled with stuffed animals and like calm vibes, and just because I have anxiety and depression and I deal with all that, and going in that room helps me deal with that. And so we found actually that a lot of the kids that we brought in here basically saying, hey, go in that calm down room for a bit, and it really helped. I feel like we're a foster care, honestly. Foster care for ghosts.
Yeah. Well, we talked about the Tavra's traveling tavern, just like
for wayward spirits.
Yeah, that's what we are. We're like this beacon of wayward spirits. Even the ghost we were talking to in Spanish said that they knew who we were. Every ghost that we've talked to basically is like, yeah, we know who Charlieripley and Emma Strange is, and not. It feels so douchebaggy to say, right? Like, we're ghost celebrities, but we're making enough of a difference that they seek us out. There's a reason why, I truly believe there's a reason why this spirit came here, because they knew they could get help, and they did. And there's almost 20 or more than 20 here now, so it's obvious that we're doing the work. We're putting the time in. So
yeah, it's so much of this stuff is unexplainable, and I'd really like to talk to hire a professional that has a little bit more experience with the paraphysics of it all, because I just, there's so much I would like either explanations or debunkings for, so we can narrow down our theory base. But it's just,
no one can debunk anything until the Food Network and Guy Fieri pick up my idea and come cook for our ghosts who want to eat his food.
I Kenneth would love that.
Paranormal palettes. It's a thing. Help me. Tweet at them.
Are you still doing that every single day?
No, I haven't been doing it every single day because I don't want Guy Fieri to hate me. He's such a good person.
Okay. So yeah.
But maybe he's a listener. If you're out there, Guy Fieri, we want to talk to you.
Yeah. So we get them in the room so it makes them feel safe and comforted, and so, because it's a scary thing, right? Like, the whole thing is just scary. Dying and not knowing where you are, and dealing with situations as a kid that you just don't have the depth to deal with yet. And so, like, hey, here's a safe place for you. There's movies in there. There's toys. There's whatever it is that you need that will bring you comfort. And she immediately wanted All Dogs Go to Heaven. And we were, like, all of this happened right as we were trying to like leave to go on a hike. Like, so much just happened in like the span of like 2 hours, 3 hours, I don't know. And so like I was getting dressed and getting my hiking boots on and stuff, and getting all that taken care of, and like I was watching All Dogs Go to Heaven with her kinda as I was getting ready to go.
Did not age well.
No, it did not. There's some questionable stuff in there. Definitely historical, but it's not for children. Definitely not for kids. And then sometimes when we're like doing movie nights, we're like, hey, who wants to choose a movie tonight? And since she was new, she was like, hey, what do you want to watch? And she wanted Rockadoodle, and I was like, dude, I'm broke this week. I can't be renting all these movies.
Yeah, so usually we stream movies because we already pay for it. So yeah, knock yourselves out. Go watch whatever you want. But in this case, Rockadoodle is not on any streaming service. So
Amazon.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's no free streaming service. So this is something we'd actually have to pay and rent. And it's like, do we rent a movie and then play it and not watch it because we're going to be out of the house for the ghosts? Like, how far does this go?
Right, yeah.
We already did like a supper for them once where we, left food out, and that doesn't get eaten, and we put some like shots of whiskey out. So
we should really have just like a Patreon if you want to support our ghosts and their habits. Because some of them really like presents. Like, Kenneth really likes us getting candy from the store for him, and it's just, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I should have given him the rest of my Mountain Dew. That was horrible. The new Mountain Dew flavor, the melon one, is awful. Do not drink.
What flavor was that?
Watermelon.
What did it taste like? It had a very distinct, like, Jolly Rancher.
It was like, I said it was like a watermelon fucked Jolly Rancher. It was horrible.
It was really bad. As we were dealing with that, we've been doing a lot of hiking and doing some urban exploration, because that's all you can do.
Getting in shape.
Yeah, that's all you can do during a pandemic. So You gotta go out to the furthest reaches of the earth where no one goes and explore. So that's what we've been doing. I think that day, did we go to Eugene?
Eugene.
Or to Virginia? Where?
That one was Eugene. So we went to Eugene first.
Okay. So I don't remember a whole lot what we did there. We did a fuck ton of walking. That much
We
I do
did. So
know.
we did 2 graveyards. The first graveyard we visited was on the Oregon campus.
Oh yeah, U of O, beautiful campus.
Yeah.
I love U of O.
Great campus, and the
Yes.
graveyard was like a Civil War. It had like a Civil War veteran, and it actually had like a class there. Like they were teaching a class in the graveyard that was like how to maintenance it, which is
Yeah,
super
and how to
great.
do, grave restoration, and they were out there doing it, and they were the sweetest kids. Like it was just, it made my heart happy.
And it was quiet. There was not a single hit in that entire graveyard. Like it was just
No, and
peaceful,
so
happy,
respectful.
content.
Like it was great, so nice. And I think there was like a gentleman who was a on-site like graveyard bro, and he just maintenanced it and lived there in his camper. It's a great job.
Yeah.
I would love that job.
The gravekeeper.
Yeah,
Someday.
It's our goal to get a few acres and get a tiny home on it, and then take a plot of land where we could buy the licensing to have our own graveyard, which is, I know that probably sounds like so goth, but
Well, the idea is that no one would ever get forgotten, right? Like they would have
Yeah.
someone to pray over them, or whatever your religion may be, or just someone to talk to. Like we think
Yeah.
it's a nice idea, so it's something that
And-
we hope to get to someday.
Yeah, and there's something that I've found very, very frustrating as we've been visiting more and more resting places where the hours are so strict on when you can and cannot be there. And I get they don't want people there at night for safety reasons and for, stuff like that. But
Which reminds me, we need to drive by the other one maybe tonight, because they said that they're open 24 hours a day. I'd love to drive by and see if their gates are actually still open, because
Bellevue?
yeah, if it's legal to be in that cemetery after dark and the gates are open, like that place is huge and that perfect for overnights and other things. And
It is, but we had some sketch stuff
yeah,
happen
that's
there.
another thing that we need to talk about.
So again, we like cemeteries, parks, hiking. Sorry, our dog is going crazy out there.
Well, let's finish Eugene. So we went to a second graveyard in Eugene, and it was hilly as fuck. There was a super
Yeah.
cute kitty, but I didn't get to pet the kitty.
No.
But this graveyard was unlike any other. Like it had a built-in garden area, it had a built-in like viewing area, it had
a
mausoleum on
site.
it.
It had like a separate private mausoleum.
a private crypt.
For those of you who are a little more artsy and know who Thomas Kincaid is, apparently his family is buried there, which I thought was pretty neat. And a lot of founders of Eugene, some other really famous people, at least in the Oregon area. And I thought that was really cool.
It was a nice one. It was another quiet one. There wasn't a whole lot of activity, or maybe we were just so beat from hiking miles and miles that day that
We got our workout in, though.
we did. There was also some warning signs for bees, so that was terrifying.
Yeah, so what was the other tangent we were whittling away at before we got back on track?
So we were going to talk a little bit about the sketchy things that happened at Bellevue. So
We wanted to go and check out the mausoleum, and because I have a thing for mausoleums.
and my grandma's buried there.
Yeah, that reason's better than mine. But
So we went towards the end of the night because, well, there's only 2 hours of sunlight after work. So
yeah, and so we're kind of like, what do you do at 5 p.m. when it's dark out? Because we went and walked downtown once, and we almost got jumped, so we're not doing that again.
yeah, so they said that they're open 24 hours a day. So we went to go try our luck, and we went there. We parked there, and it was a little sketchy. We didn't want to get locked in, so we're like, well, let's go into the mausoleum. And it was clear that the mausoleum was supposed to be locked.
Yeah, so we walked by, and then I opened the door, and this red alert light started going off, but there
Yeah.
was no sound.
Like it was like an alert system, but there was no sound. There was no cops called. There was nothing.
Yeah, and then, but the door opened, but all the lights were off, and then it said it was open 24/7, but then why dark? Why look spoopy? So I don't know. And so we went in there, and then it's bad vibes.
It was
all the way
super
around.
bad vibes in there. Yeah.
But we had something, so something happened with the lock. Do you remember?
Yeah, so the lock was the weirdest thing because it was locked and then it wasn't.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, and so they had a door stop, so I put that in there, and then while Charlie was wandering around, I kept an eye on the door because I was terrified that we were going to get locked in there. And if you do a lot of mausoleum hunting, if you want to call it that, dead people have a distinct smell.
Yep.
And that decay over time, it's there. And it's not the best. So
I can't remember what all happened there because I remember I was feeling really sketched out about being there as well. I really didn't like being in there.
I heard someone try and say something. There was sticking in the wall, but that was not. The fuck was that? Did you hear that?
Is that a cat fight? I think it's a cat fight down the alleyway.
This is our life.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of alley cats, so that
Yeah.
happens. But yeah, so there's ticking in the wall. That's unrelated. We're working on figuring out what that is, but it seems to be in a military grave, so maybe it's like a watch or some piece of that. So that's not really there. I think I heard it as well. I can't remember now. I know that you said that you heard something. I was walking around with the flashlight, and then we were just so afraid of getting locked in there, we just bolted. No more of that.
Yeah, and they're loud, man. We were there, and then we went back there to talk to his grandma, and she called me fat. So
that was always her style.
All's it ends well.
She called me fat a lot too, but I've lost 100+ pounds since she last saw me. So
yeah, he's doing so good. I'm so proud of you.
And then we played bagpipe music for her.
Yeah, because Charlie's family is Scottish, and am I allowed to talk about that?
Yeah, that's
okay.
fine.
Sorry. Certain things we like to be private about, so I don't know. But his family was part of the Clan Sutherland, and there is, what do you call that, like a march or a...
Yeah, like a clan march or like a clan fighting song, I guess.
Yeah, and so she wanted to hear that, and she was really deep into the genealogy and her family's history, and she
got to visit the family castle before she passed.
Charlie's family's got a lot of really cool history, and I love it. So we did that.
We already talked. So we found out in Vernonia there was a abandoned like part of a sawmill as well as like some bunkers.
Yeah, and it used to be like a whole logging area out there, and Vernonia is toward Elsie, where we were prior, and there's a ton of like abandoned buildings there, and it's a poor mining town or poor logging town, and they just had some really cool history, and then we are just people deprived, and so we went and walked around downtown and fell into some antique stores that were really neat.
They had like 3 antique stores back to back to back that were all attached, but they had a lot of cool stuff in there.
They did. You found a Lucky Kitty bank.
A Lucky Kitty bank, some comics, and a snow globe for you.
Actually, I'm ended up giving that to my mom because she loves Mickey. So
it's a great town. I definitely recommend you visit. Everyone there was super nice. There was a couple restaurants we wanted to try, but COVID. The main thing at the mill was all the graffiti. Like so, Charlieripley Photography on Instagram. Like, follow, subscribe. But if you check it out, I posted some of the graffiti, and there's some beautiful graffiti in there. A bunch of like hidden Totoros, and it's really unique to look at. So
yeah,
check it out.
Did we do anything else in Vernonia?
We planned to, but we were running low on time. We visited. There was a graveyard that was right off the road there. But there wasn't anything too interesting at that graveyard. We are planning on going down to the Wolf Creek Inn and getting a night there. We've also been trying to plan a trip out to La Ronde.
Yeah,
Hot Spring for the Haunted.
Hot Spring Hotel.
In Candyland Park.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of good stuff out there, and we don't get out as east as much as we would like because it's so far out there. Like the way Oregon is spread out, like you'll have one city in like a million miles of nothing, and then another city. So it takes forever to get anywhere. Is that all we have? I feel like we had a whole bunch more.
You wrote stuff down, so you want to double check that really quick?
Yeah, We got it all of my bullet points.
All the stuff. I mean, the tile story is what we really wanted to share. That was just, we would love to debunk that, love to talk to other people about experiences with that. I got a new tarot deck, lots of new tarot decks. I guess we can talk about, there's a couple things we are trying to do. We wanted to talk about TikTok a little bit.
Yeah, so I have a TikTok. Charlie has a TikTok. We're pretty casual on there. But we're going to be starting just a Transcendence Paranormal account with all of your spooky content. So if you want like behind the scenes stuff of our investigations, if you want tips and tricks to the trade, if you want spooky merch, because I make Ouija boards and stuff like that. If you need pagan tips, if you are Catholic and interested in the occult, which is something I want to touch on actually, or any religion and interested in the occult and you would like to learn more about it, give us a follow. We'd love it. Interact with us, please, because we have so many people that have been following us lately. But we want to hear from you. We want to talk to you, beautiful people. So.
If you want a tarot reading, I'm getting good at it. I want to do it for other people. I haven't really gotten a chance to. So
yeah, and like all of our services, those are free. So shout, come out and get a tarot reading. It boosts Charlie's ego when he's right. So
it does. Also, check out. We're talking about doing like a stream. I got a stream set for our co-host, our junior co-host, who was featured in one episode. Abby, our Furby. So now the Furby can stream video games. I plan on streaming on March 2nd. We're going to have the new Harvest Moon come out, so Furby will be streaming that. And then at the end of March, there's a new Monster Hunter coming out, and I will be playing that a ton. So hopefully we'll have some streaming stuff either on Twitch or YouTube or both.
We'll have a book club. So if you're interested in getting a spooky book of the month where you could be ghost stories, could be occultism, really anything is up for grabs, horror books, horror stories, we send out a book and some couple goodies alongside with it every month. Or we have a witchy tier, we have a fiction tier, occult, and spooky. So a little something for everybody. And let's see, I just had a release in our shop update with a whole bunch of like cool things. If you are pagan, I released some athames and handmade runestones and stuff like that. So if you're into that, that is on lonelyghostcottage.com.
I remember the two things.
All right, go for it.
So the first thing was, in our last episode, we talked a little bit about this, but I think I just uploaded. So are we going to be uploading somewhere the raw audio footage from our investigation?
Oh, that went up the last episode.
Oh, was that attached to the last episode?
Yeah. So if you listen to the very end of our last episode, if you haven't listened to it yet and you decide you want to listen to this episode first, at the very end of it, after our outro, we put about 10 minutes of our audio from the Wilhelm investigation that we did. Apparently I went totally mama bear because I listened to that today and was like, wow, that's my mother shining through there. It's interesting. I love that kind of stuff, and if you want to hear more of that, let us know and we'll try to be more diligent about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I don't know. That was shot using our iPhone, so it's meh quality, but I'm trying to figure out like the GoPro doesn't have the greatest like audio quality.
Well, in the confined spaces that we were in,
it would do fine.
Yeah, I think. But if it's out and about, it's a little more difficult.
Yeah, just another box, an amp and other stuff we're going to have to carry. We could get a fourth backpack full of gear. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was something that I found that I'm really enjoying called K-Rent. It was a Kickstarter for a tarot-based Dungeons & Dragons or tabletop RPG style game, and it's pretty awesome. So give them a check out, give them a like. It's not super popular. I'd honestly never heard of it. Everyone I've tried to talk to about it has never heard of it, but I'm playing a game of it right now with two other people, and basically it's like a collaborative storytelling experience where you draw your cards and you figure out what's happening based on that, and you make characters based on the cards you draw, so it gives you some really cool spreads, as well as like I'm really learning what cards mean because you analyze them together. So you say, well, the last card we just drew was a Seven of Wands. And so I was like, okay, well, this card I'm really getting like a lot of fight, a lot of conflict from this card. And this card represents, we talk about what it represents and what our cards show and all that. And then we kind of write the story together based off that. And it's been so much fun. So check them out. We're gonna try and reach out to them and talk to them about their game. I myself I'm a amateur. I only say I'm an amateur everything, right? Like I'm an amateur writer. I'm waiting for my book to be published. I'm an amateur photographer. Got my Charlieripley photography page, and I'm an amateur game maker. I make hacks of things and put them together and then run them and have a lot of fun. So I wanted to make a tarot based game, and then I saw they made theirs. Like, oh well, shoot, I'm too late to the market. But then I was like, okay, no, I'm going to play their game and see what's lacking, and then I'm going to make my own. But I don't know. I love tarot cards, so I see people try and use them in games. Like tons of people make classes for Dungeons and Dragons because they want to make tarot classes.
Yeah, they've been great for character making. They honestly, it's one of my new
solid
favorite
characters.
Tools. Yeah.
So check it out. It used to be a Kickstarter. You can find it on Drive-Thru RPG. Really enjoyed them, so I wanted to give them a shout out. Like their product, and if it's something you want to play, let's talk. We keep talking about wanting more interaction. Like we got 1,000, I think almost 1,200 people on Twitter now, and maybe we'll get one like and one comment here and there. So we're craving the interaction. We want to talk to our audience. We want to find out about you guys and talk to you. So
yes, please.
If that's something you're interested in, let's talk about TTRPGs, Dungeons and Dragons, and K-Rent. So
we want more spooky friends. So like when this whole pandemic thing is over, we can hang out with you guys and do hunts and stuff. So please interact with us.
Well, I've begged Emma for a long time to do another addition to our podcast of doing like a Monster of the Week or a Dungeons and Dragons or something to tie it in.
I know, and I'd really like to kick that off. I'd like it to be a more consistent thing, and just to have our own little community going. And we're getting there, trying. People recognizing us, so that's a start. So yeah, come hang out with us. A little off topic, but I was listening to Let's Read while I was making dinner tonight, and for those of you who don't know,
in her new air fryer.
I love that thing so much already. It's magic though, and I'm gonna sound like such a dumb blonde right now, and I'm sorry, but like I do not understand how the fuck that thing works. Like it's magic to me. I my brain can't comprehend how it works.
You put the food in the magic box, and then 10 minutes later, it's good.
I know, it feels very Star Trek-y. I love it. Yeah.
Back on topic, you were talking.
I was listening to Let's Read, and if you like Reddit horror stories or Reddit Let's Not Meet stuff, he does that. He reads those stories aloud, and he gets like submissions outside of Reddit, and it's great. I love his stuff, and it used to only be on YouTube, and he slowly started branching out to other audio hosts, and he's on Spotify now, which is awesome. And they were talking. He was telling this one person's story. And she was talking about how this person was coming up to rob the store that she was working in. And, like, all I could think was, like, sorry for any future employer, but if someone tries to come rob the store, fuck y'all. They're getting their stuff. Like, they want cash? Here you go. I will put a bow on it. It is yours.
Well, that's the store policy. I mean, you used to work with someone who went against store policy, right? When they saw a shoplifter, they would go hunt them down to try and get the stuff back.
Yeah, I forgot about that guy.
That is not what you want, right? Because that's liabilities and all that. And like,
yeah. And she was worried that he was going to like kill her and stuff. And I was like, nah, that would never be a concern for me. It's like, here, you want everything in the store? Go for it, man. I'll give you the keys.
Well, and like I just talked to you about this like 2 hours ago, but you never know if it's like, is it just a prank, bro? Like there's a kid who is in Nashville who's dead now because he was just doing a prank video where he was pretending to rob people, and he pretended to rob the wrong person and got shot dead. Like,
yeah,
damn,
it's can't be doing.
I hate the YouTube prank channels. I hate them. I hate that it's just a prank bro saying. I hate the thoughts behind it. But nobody deserves to die over it, right? Just a dumb kid doing dumb things.
I know this is really weird. I don't know if you can see it from my screen. So on this Andy Warhol cam, right in this corner, I keep seeing very faint flashing red and blue lights. So I think there's a cop outside the graveyard. Like it's like right here and right here. And like,
isn't there a video that went around of a cop at it, like he was walking to a graveyard and there's like a cougar scream or something? He just turns around and is like, nope, fuck that, and then
I don't know how
leaves.
to that guy. Like I follow so many people on TikTok and I lose like all my videos. So there's a couple dudes that I wish I could go back and check on, but I'd have to like dig super fucking deep into my TikTok because I just mass like videos. But there is, speaking of TikTok, I've been noticing a lot of things in witch talk where people who are not pagan are coming in and asking questions, which is awesome. I love that. But I'm seeing a lot of Catholics on like tarot posts and on Ouija posts, and they're asking, hey, I'm Catholic and I'm really interested in the occult. I'm really interested in this stuff. It fascinates me. And it's not like I want to practice it necessarily, but I want to learn about it. It's interesting. And they think it makes them a bad Catholic. They think it makes them turn against God. And I'm not a religious person myself, but Charlie is. And I think it's a really interesting topic to talk about and to get your views on as someone who dabbles in the occult, someone who does tarot. And
I know we were going to plan on doing a TikTok about it too, to try and reach out to those people. So Mr. Black, when we had him on the show, touched on it. You know, he's very strongly Catholic, and as you know, all the exorcists are Catholic, and a lot of the people who do that spiritual warfare are Catholic. So there's a couple ways you can view it. And I do believe that a lot of the warnings out there, because you hear like, oh, tarot will summon the devil and it's evil, and I don't necessarily know that those warnings are correct, but I believe that in their heart they believe they're doing the right thing. So tarot's not evil, it's not going to summon the devil, but if you don't know what you're doing and you get misled down the path, you can find yourself in some sticky territory, right? So the safest way for everyone, the safest way to ensure that people don't get led down that path is just tell them don't get involved in it at all, right? Because you can get led down the wrong path or other things involved with it, and there's a lot to it. So I believe their heart's in the right place when like, don't do tarot, it's bad, and they leave it at that, because for most people it would be bad unless you know what you're doing, you do the research and everything else. So I understand why that point of view, but in all reality, I struggle with this as well, and I talked with Mr. Black about it pretty in depth about like, does this make me a bad Catholic? You know, a lot of Catholics will look down on you for it and say, you're dealing with the devil and all that. But the truth is that in order to fight a spiritual warfare battle, you have to be prepared for that. And a part of proper, quote, warfare is knowing your enemy, right? So the exorcists, the people who assist in exorcisms, the people who deal with demons, the people who are set to fight those have to know the occult. They have to be deep into the occult and know the knowledge, because you need to have it to be on equal footing with it. So if anything, I would say it makes you a better Catholic, because it makes you better prepared for spiritual warfare, which is something that we're called to. As Catholics, it's not just, oh, I love God and that makes me a good person. You're called to conduct spiritual warfare. You're supposed to battle the devil. You're supposed to battle the demons. You're supposed to save souls. You're supposed to pray for those in purgatory. Like there's a lot more to it than just I'm an upstanding person. So I think that they try and limit the people exposed to it, but I think it does make you a better Catholic. I think it makes you a better person, a more well-rounded person. The more you know, the more you're exposed to, the more you can get. It's never a bad thing to learn anything, right? It doesn't matter what you're learning, really. If you're learning something new, you're expanding your horizons, and that's good.
We're going to post that video, and oh boy, we're not prepared for the hate that's going to come in on that.
Going to get a lot of hate
right now.
I'll have to wear my disguise.
Because I'm not hiding from that. I stand firm in that belief, and I'm not going to deal with that kind of bullshit.
I agree. I am not the greatest Catholic. I always have room to grow. I have a lot to learn.
That's what every spirituality is. I mean, not everyone, but like that's the point of a lot of it, right? Is to be better spiritually, physically, mentally. Spiritually, obviously, takes precedence.
But there's also like a lot of people who believe that Tai Chi is evil or that yoga is evil, and it's rooted in all this evil mysticism and stuff. So there's a lot of beliefs out there, but I truly don't believe that God would send you to hell for doing yoga.
Yeah, I'm firm on that too. I don't think Sky Daddy would punish you for that. So yeah, I just realized like how much hate we're gonna get on that, because I don't know if you've been on what the gay community lovingly calls straight TikTok. It's there's some toxicity in the white Christianity
Well,
field.
here we are begging for interactions. Negativity is a great way to get a lot of interactions. Hate mail is still interaction,
Yeah,
I
but,
suppose.
Gen Z, man. Gen Z is a different breed of people.
I get why people hate it on millennials, but I really understand why people hate on Gen Z.
And I'm not trying to be ageist or anything, guys. Like, my sister's pretty cusp Gen Z, and I love her to death. But y'all be scary. Like, you're doxing and finding people's, like, dogs' names and their addresses.
Cancel culture. And
yeah. I know we do this, like, every time. I have no idea what we're doing for next episode. We'll figure it out. I'm leaning towards near-death experiences. What are your thoughts on that?
it's either that, or if we want to do an investigation, we still have that Portland investigation at the park of the murdered person that's on the table that we could do distance. But unfortunately, a lot of parks all across our state especially have been very difficult to access due to current circumstances. A lot of displaced people living in them that make that, you know, I don't want to say it's unsafe because it's an unfair stereotype towards, you know, the homeless people, that they're unsafe or that they're dangerous, but some of them are. It's just, I went doing photography this morning, and it was everywhere, and it broke my heart, right? These are all people who are hurting, who need help, and they're just, everyone ignores them, but we can't ignore the fact that there is sometimes issues that arise with it. So I don't know if I want to go to that park yet or not, but I'd love to do an investigation because we haven't done, well, we did the Bandage Man, but that one was pretty meh. I'd love to be able to dig in, like have all of our investigation that was like Lafayette, where it's like, here's 45 minutes of talking about this investigation, and here's audio logs from it, and here's our experience. I'd love to give that to the people again.
Well, what I'd love to do, like on our Patreon, is basically every month you get like a case file, whether that be physical or digital, and however you'd like to do that. Interact, let us know. And like Lafayette was really amazing because we got to sit down with the Historical Society, we got to go through archives, we got to do a lot of really cool stuff there. And I'm hoping. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, so hopefully, I commissioned some art for us so I could finish up. We actually made a Transcendence Paranormal video game that goes all the way through investigating the Lafayette, and you get to do a Lafayette investigation in real time in the video game. And once I get the last bits of art assets, I'm gonna find a way to get that out to people. So you will get to do that hopefully this year.
Yeah. So we want to do that. What were we talking about before? Because I just completely lost it again.
Case files.
Prior to that.
Investigations.
I don't know.
Point being, we don't know what we're going to do for the next episode, but near-death experiences could be good. Might get investigation. Maybe, Valentine's Day is coming up. We're talking about doing a little bit of a getaway, even though every hotel's booked except for the haunted ones, so it's perfect for us. We can go get a haunted hotel for Valentine's
Always
Day.
working. Always, always, always working. Hope you guys have a great night. Remember that you are loved, that you matter, and to stay spooky. Hit us up on social media, please. Okay, bye.